Ever felt like you're falling behind in your career, like everyone else is moving forward? New titles, new jobs, new milestones, and you're stuck wondering, did I miss something? Maybe you scroll through LinkedIn and feel that tightness in your chest, or you hear about someone else's promotion and suddenly start questioning every decision you've ever made. Here's the truth. You aren't behind. And over the next few minutes, I want to show you why that feeling, the pressure, the doubt, the fear, doesn't mean that you've failed. In fact, it might actually be a sign that you're growing, that you're paying attention, that you care. I'm Chris, and I help professionals at all stages find clarity in their careers, and I've got a simple mindset shift plus one powerful reframe at the end that might just change how you see your timeline forever. So if you've ever felt like you're running out of time, keep watching, because once you understand this, it's going to free you up to grow like never before. Let's talk about that feeling. You know the one. It creeps in when you start thinking, I should be further along by now. It can hit you out of nowhere, on your commute, in the middle of a team meeting at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night. But that feeling usually isn't about where you are right now. It's normally about what you're comparing yourself to. You jump on LinkedIn, you scroll through Instagram, and it's one life update after another. Someone got promoted, someone else launched a business, another person's announcing their dream role with a view of the city skyline, and suddenly your own progress, the things you were proud of yesterday, don't feel like enough anymore. You start questioning your choices, your timeline, even your worth. Because here's the thing that people rarely say when you're doubting yourself. Success doesn't follow a straight line. Not in real life. Not for most people. And in fact, most of the successful people that you've ever heard of didn't find their stride until much later than you might expect. Stan Lee, the mastermind behind Marvel superheroes like Spider-Man, didn't create his first major comic book until he was nearly 40. And Julia Child, one of the most influential chefs in the world, didn't publish her first cookbook until she was 50. And Colonel Sanders, yep, that KFC guy, he didn't start franchising the business until he was in his 60s. And it's not just the famous names. There are probably millions of people who have changed careers, shifted industries, or found their purpose later than they ever would have dreamed. Research actually shows that most people make a career change at around age 39. Not in their 20s, not fresh out of college or uni, but mid-career, when they've lived a little, tried a few things, and realised what really matters to them. Even in the startup world, where we usually picture young founders in hoodies building billion-dollar apps, the average age of the most successful founders is actually 45. So if you've been thinking, it's too late for me, or I've missed my window, you haven't. You are not behind. You're just arriving at your next chapter in your own time. But here's where it gets even more important, because what does success actually look like for you? Because until you really define that, and I mean really define that, you are always going to feel like you're falling short. A lot of us feel behind because we're measuring ourselves against definitions of success that we never actually chose for ourselves. Because somewhere along the way, we absorbed these unspoken rules like you should have a certain salary by 30, or a leadership role by 35, financial freedom by 40. But who even made those rules? And more importantly, do they even matter to you? Because real confidence in your career doesn't come from ticking off someone else's checklist. It comes from getting really honest about what you want and then building your career around that, even if it looks different to what everyone else around you is doing. Because for some, success means climbing the ladder and leading big teams, but for others, it's working 3 days a week with time to spend with family. For some, it's about impact. For others, it's about freedom, creativity, autonomy. None of those are wrong. But chasing someone else's version of success will always leave you feel like you're not doing enough. So here's a question to sit with or answer in the comments if you're open to it. What does success look like for you at this point in your life? Because once you define that, the pressure to catch up starts to dissolve and you can actually start enjoying where you're going. Now, even with all of this, that feeling of being behind might still show up from time to time. That is normal, it's human. But instead of trying to push it away, what if you used it? What if every time you thought, I should be further along, you paused and asked yourself, further along in what? And then used that insight to take one small step. Maybe you feel behind in your skills. Okay, sign up for a short course or commit to learning 15 minutes a day. Maybe you've outgrown your current role. Great, start talking to people in the space that you're drawn to. Maybe you feel stuck or uninspired. Reconnect with what used to energize you. This isn't about rushing, it's not about fixing yourself, it's about listening to what that feeling is trying to tell you, because you're not stuck, you're not behind, you're being called forward. And that feeling is not failure, it is potential, and it's trying to get your attention. So follow it. Start small if you need to, start messy if you have to, but move in your direction, not someone else's. If this landed for you, give it a like, it really helps more people find the channel, and drop a comment and let me know one thing that you're leaning into next. I genuinely read all of them and I would love to hear a bit about your story. And if you want more honest, no fluff career support every week, hit subscribe. We're building something real here and you are always welcome. Got this.